Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu,
Guru
Devo Maheshwara, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapyat Sarvam Trilokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata Sapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vedyan Ravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So where are we in our text?
Well, we're in chapter 18. I have on page 58. Scott had on page 53. It's with the questioner saying, no, I was not conscious, I was asleep.
Have you found it?
Yep.
Okie dokie. Moving on.
Questioner. No, I was not conscious. I was asleep. I did not behave like a conscious person. Maharaj. Again, how do you know? Questioner. I was told so by those who saw me asleep. Maharaj. All they can testify to is that they saw you lying quietly with closed eyes and breathing regularly. They could not make out whether you were conscious or not. Your only proof is your own memory. A very uncertain proof it is. Questioner.
Let's stop there. So what Maharaj is dealing with are ways in which we discern the reality of the waking state. And we assert in an unexamined way that it's because I have continuity of memory. It's one of the ideas that we discuss in Mandukya Karika. So the easiest way to prove that this is not valid, what is today, the 2nd of April?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
This is 2025, 2nd of April. What were you doing on the 2nd of April in 2015?
I don't remember.
You don't? Did you cease to exist? Do you have no experience of the cessation of being? And we talked about this briefly last week. One of the ways the scriptures prove that awareness is present, even in deep sleep, is through the law of memory. You cannot remember something you haven't experienced. Did I have breakfast this morning?
I don't know.
How do you not know it?
Because I wasn't here.
Did you have breakfast this morning?
Yes.
How do you know it?
Because I was there.
So the experiencer and the rememberer must be the same entity. Can't remember something you haven't experienced. Did you sleep well last night?
Kind of.
Anybody sleep well last night?
Yeah, I did actually.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yes.
So after the fact, you wake up in the morning and go, oh, I feel so rested. I slept so soundly. You could not remember that you slept soundly, that something was there to know it. So deep sleep is not being unconscious. Another comparison. It's like the difference between being blind and shutting your eyes. So you can look around the room, your eyes are open, you can see the objects. Close your eyes. Now you cannot see the objects, but you are not blind. You are seeing the back of your eyelids. Open your eyes, close your eyes, open your eyes, close your eyes. Your eyelids occlude your capacity to see what's in the room. So also, when the mind is thoughting, when we have vimarsha, the phenomenal world, either in the dream state or the waking state, appears. But in deep sleep, it is folded up into pure vasana, avyakta, the unmanifest. Karana Sharira has many names. Pure ignorance. But you could be aware of the absence of something. Do you see that there's a phone in my hand?
Yes.
Do you see there's no phone in my hand?
Yes.
So you could know the presence or the absence of something. So the point that Maharaj is driving at, there is no off button for yourself. You are always shining. All right, going on.
Questioner. Yes, I admit that on my own terms, I am a person only during my waking hours. What I am in between, I do not know. Maharaj. At least you know that you do not know. Since you pretend not to be conscious in the intervals between the waking hours, leave the intervals alone. Let us consider the waking hours only.
Okay, so this is very important. If whether or not I'm conscious in deep sleep is problematic for you, don't worry about it. Nobody got enlightened in deep sleep. Any thoughts on that one? Let's just stay with the waking state.
Questioner. I am the same person in my dreams. Maharaj. Agreed. Let us consider them together, waking and dreaming. The difference is merely in continuity. Were your dreams consistently continuous, bringing back night after night the same surroundings and the same people, you would be at a loss to know which is the waking and which is the dream. Henceforth, when we talk of the waking state, we shall include the dream state too.
So there's a very famous Zen proverb. Am I a king who dreamt he was a butterfly? Or am I a butterfly dreaming I'm a king? What does Mandukya say? In the Agama Prakarana, the first chapter, he breaks down waking, dream, deep sleep, Auma, and silence, the self. In the second chapter, he basically says, well, actually, there's only two mind states. Deep sleep and dream. Daytime dream, you've got nighttime dream, but they're the same. Going on.
A questioner. Agreed. I am a person in conscious relation with the world. Maharaj. Are the world and the conscious relation with it essential to your being a person? Questioner. Even confined in a cave, I remain a person. Maharaj. It implies a body and a cave, and a world in which they can exist. Questioner. Yes, I see. The world and the consciousness of the world are essential to my existence as a person. Maharaj. This makes the person part and parcel of the world, or vice versa. The two are one. Questioner.
So this is what the Buddhists call dependent origination. The personal sense of self and the phenomenal world perceived arise at the same time. Some scriptures will say the I thought arises first and then the world, but the gap is so instantaneous almost. It's irrelevant. So what is the world? The world is the triple factor of the individual knower, a means of knowledge, knowing, and objects of knowledge, Vishaya, known. I, Jim, seeing, know the bowl on the table. Any questions about that? Going on.
Questioner. Consciousness stands alone. The person and the world appear in consciousness. Maharaj, you said appear. Could you add disappear? Questioner. No, I cannot. I can only be aware of my and my world's appearance. As a person, I cannot say the world is not. Without a world, I would not be there to say it. Because there is a world, I am there to say there is a world. Maharaj, maybe it is the other way around. Because of you, there is a world. Questioner, to me, such a statement appears meaningless. Maharaj, its meaninglessness may disappear on investigation. Questioner, where do we begin? Maharaj, all I know is that whatever depends is not real. The real is truly independent. Since the existence of the person depends on the existence of the world, and it is circumscribed and defined by the world, it cannot be real. Questioner, it cannot be a dream, surely. Maharaj, even a dream has existence when it is cognized and enjoyed or endured. Whatever you think and feel has being, but it may not be what you take it to be. What you think to be a person may be something quite different. Questioner, I am what I know myself to be. Maharaj, you cannot possibly say that you are what you think yourself to be. Your ideas about yourself change from day to day and from moment to moment. Your self-image is the most changeful thing you have.
Amen. Any comments, thoughts about that? I like to use the example of you go to the county fair and you go into the fun house with the various mirrors. One makes you look tall and skinny, another one makes you look short and fat, and the other one is globules. So we seek self through the fun house mirrors of the world, and most especially other people's opinions. Oh, you're so wonderful. You're so smart. You're doing it right. You're a jerk. You're stupid. You're a fake. Now, what Maharaj is implying, again, the Sanskrit is so beautiful. We may have talked about this already in this class. Have we talked about the term chaya? What is chaya? Shadow. It's one of the words the scriptures use to describe the personal sense of self. We also have ahankara or ahankriti. Kara kriti comes from the root kri, which is to make or to do. So ahankara is usually translated as ego. Is that how your teacher in the course is translating
You
it?
didn't say ego, but yeah.
But
Indication.
literally, it is I maker thoughts, things that make a sense of I. Aham kriti, what the kriti makes the I. The real I is not made. Chid abhasa, a reflected self, like an image in a mirror. But with chit chaya, what's so cool about it, what happens when you shine a light on a shadow? Well, the shadow seems indistinct. Let me get out a bright light, see if I can see it better. What happens if you shine a light on the shadow? Yeah. So also with the personal sense of self, it only seems to arise when the attentive faculty is focused outward. When I look at an object, the shadow self, I, Jim, see the object arises. When I'm aware of a feeling, this shadow self of Jim, I feel such and such. When I have a thought, this shadow self arises. And it's very mercurial, it's changing all the time, depending on what's perceived. But if I introvert the light of the mind, shine the flashlight of the mind on this phony self, this ahankriti, and it falls. Doesn't mean you disappear. It means the Jiva Bhavana disappears. Don't believe me. Don't believe Maharaj. Thin the mind. Introvert the attentive thing. Let's listen to the traffic for a moment. Who hears it? Notice the knower. See, there's nothing there. There's no person. There's something there. The space of pure awareness. Chitakash. Where did that person go? Oh. We do this over, over, and over again till my stupid mind is convinced Brahma Satya, Jagan Mithya. Atma Satyam Jiva Bhavana. This is called Jnana Abhyasa, the practice of knowledge. Any thoughts on this? Now, this process is only efficacious if the mind is sattvic enough. So you can kind of say, just put your thumb on it for a minute. Stop. Just notice the knower. Chidananda, my form, my nature is bliss, consciousness. Shivoham, Shivo. Going on.
Your self-image is the most changeful thing you have. It is utterly vulnerable at the mercy of a passerby. A bereavement, a loss of a job, an insult, and your image of yourself, which you call your person, changes deeply. To know what you are, you must first investigate and know what you are not.
Yes.
And to know what you are not, you must watch yourself carefully, rejecting all that does not necessarily go with the basic fact, I am. The idea is, I am born.
Let me magnify that. If it is a quality, if it's a characteristic, if it occurs in time and space, and most importantly, if it can be cognized as phenomena. Anitya, discard it. It's not real. You have to be ruthless about it. No personal sense of self is real. Going.
The idea is, I am born at a given place, at a given time, from my parents, and now I am so and so, living at, married to, father of, employed by, and so on, are not inherent in the sense I am. Our usual attitude is, I am this. Consistently and perseveringly separate the I am from this or that, and try to feel what it means to be, just to be, without being this or that. All our habits go against it, and the task of fighting them is long and hard sometimes, but clear understanding helps significantly. The more clearly you understand that on the level of the mind you can be described in negative terms only, the more quickly you will come to the end of your search and realize your limitless being.
So what's the classic language of negation that the scriptures use? Nethi, nethi. Not ithi, not ithi. Not this, not this. Now we never say just nethi. And we never say neti, neti, neti. Why?
When it's repeated, it means everything.
Means there are two things to be negated. The first is the microcosm. I am not the body. I am not the prana. I am not the mind. I am not the buddhi, the intellect. I am not the Ahankriti, the Karta, the doer. I'm not even the bundle of asanas. What am I? Chilakash, the space of pure awareness. Other dimension is this world. Reality is not the physical world of name and form. Reality is not the subtle world of the total mind, all the thoughts and feelings, Gandharvas, angels, demons. Reality is not Ishvara, the total Vasana, the Lord of creation, Prajapati, Brahma. Reality is Brahman. What is Brahman? I am Atma. Prajnanam. Brahman. Brahman is consciousness. It thunders that this consciousness, which is the ground of being for the universe, the real sound, same thing, is the ruthless negation of the reality of all name and form, microcosm, macrocosm. Going on.
That's the end of the chapter.
Groovy.
Chapter 19. Reality lies in objectivity. Your world is illusory as long as it is subjective, and to that extent only. Reality lies in objectivity. Questioner. I am a painter, and I earn by painting pictures. Does this have any value from the spiritual point of view? Maharaj. When you paint, what do you think about? Questioner. When I paint, there is only the painting and myself. Maharaj. What are you doing there? Questioner. I paint. Maharaj. No, you don't. You see the painting going on. You are watching only. All else happens. Questioner. The picture is painting itself? Or is there some deeper me or some God who is painting? Maharaj. Consciousness itself is the greatest painter. The entire world is a picture. Questioner. Who painted the picture of the world? Maharaj. The painter is in the picture. Questioner. The picture is in the mind of the painter, and the painter is in the picture, which is in the mind of the painter who is in the picture. Is not this infinity of states and dimensions absurd? The moment we talk of the picture in the mind, which itself is in the picture, we come to an endless succession of witnesses, the higher witness witnessing the lower. It is like standing between two mirrors and wondering at the crowd. Maharaj, quite right. You alone and the double mirror are there. Between the two, your forms and names are numberless. Questioner, how do you look at the world? Maharaj, I see a painter painting a picture. The picture I call the world. The painter I call God. I am neither. I do not create, nor am I created. I contain all. Nothing contains me.
So again, we have this problem of the word consciousness. Chaitanya. Chitta. The total mind. So this is broken down when we study Mandukya. So we have the phenomenal world, the Jagat. Say that's the body of God. We have the subtle world, the total mind, Hiranyagarbha. We can say that that's the subtle body of God. But then God has a causal body, which Manduki calls Ishvara, which literally means he who wishes, he who wills, Ichati. So Vedanta posits a God principle, which is part of creation itself. So there's a subtle distinction between the ground of being and Brahma. Which is the first thought that appears in awareness. We'll use his language. Why is this important? We need to know that awareness, the ground of being, does nothing. It does not move, it does not become, it doesn't have ideas. Oh, God created people because he was lonely. No. None of that nonsense. But in the phenomenal world, Swamiji used to say, is not a chaos, it's a cosmos. Phenomenal world is intelligent, synchronous, organized. Listen very carefully. It's a beneficent universe that conspires for our well-being if we let it. So we have great Mahatmas like Francis of Assisi and Ramana Maharshi. Both of them were so transparent. The God principle was coming through them, such that wild animals would come up to them. And even those of us in ignorance. Michael just got back from New York. Were you in Manhattan?
Yeah.
Walking around downtown, big tall buildings, people running by.
Yeah.
And yet, if you were to go up to the redwoods, walk through a forest of these ancient trees, is there not a difference?
Yeah.
What's the difference?
One's more tranquil and quiet.
Where does the lack of tranquility come from?
Environment or within, both.
People! We take this beneficent universe and we have kama, craving, krodha, anger, bhaya, fear. You can feel it. Now, that doesn't mean destruction doesn't happen. But it's different. We lovely human beings add to the picture. But all of it in the end is the mad painter painting this world. So it's perfect, because it is. That's above our human ideas of good and right and wrong, just and unjust. But actually, so many traditions will use language like God is love. Love is the only real power. If you've ever had the opportunity to be in the presence of a Mahatma, we love them. This is all the God power, Ishvara power of the Lord.
A question or a thought.
Please.
The word perfection you use is the idea that, like, if there was one apple, it would be the perfect apple because it's the only. Is this like perfect because it's the only, or yeah, if you could just comment on perfection.
Perfection is what is. There's nobody else but God did it. But within the perfect world of God, there are physical laws and metaphysical laws. There's a physical law. Light travels at 186,000 miles per second. There's nothing you or I can do to speed it up or slow it down. But there are metaphysical laws, one of which is the law of karma. An action produces a reaction. There's the law of sankalpa. Any intention, any sankalpa consistently maintained, that's not contradicted or conflicted, tends towards grossification. It's a metaphysical law. How the whole universe has come about. And ignorance of these laws is largely what gets us in trouble. For example, if I go up to the roof of the building and I assert I don't believe in gravity, I can fly. And I jump off the roof. First of all, does gravity care? Does it? No. But am I going to go sailing over the trees? Law. So within the cosmos, it is organized, incredibly beautiful. And what's so fascinating is physicists are uncovering things that are just mind-boggling. How did Einstein come up with E equals mc squared? Why the speed of light? Where did he get that idea? Or the one that just absolutely boggles my mind, spooky entanglement at a distance. I just cannot wrap my head around that. Instantaneous transference of information. Electron on this side of the galaxy spins this way. It's entangled with another one. It spins the other way, and they know it. And the information travels faster than the speed of light. It's mind-boggling. The warping of time. If you get in a spaceship and you head towards Andromeda Galaxy, if you approach the speed of light, you'll get there in maybe 100 years. turn around 100 years to come back. You've only experienced 200 years, but on Earth, 1,000,000 years have gone by. Weird. But it's all according to cosmic law, which is perfect. And in the end, inscrutable. The human mind can only approach it. I'm trying to count to the highest number. I don't know if that answered your question.
That's useful thinking.
How do I know what's perfect? Because it is. Now, what it is may be open to discussion too. Going on.
Questioner, when I see a tree, a face, or a sunset, the picture is perfect. When I close my eyes, the image in my mind is faint and hazy. If it is my mind that projects the picture, why do I need to open my eyes to see a lovely flower, when with eyes closed I can only see it vaguely? Maharaj, it is because your outer eyes are better than your inner eyes. Your mind is all turned outward. As you learn to watch your mental world, you will find it even more colorful and perfect than what the body can provide. Of course, you will need some training, but why argue? You imagine that the picture must come from the painter who actually painted it. All the time you look for origins and causes. Causality is in the mind only. Memory gives the illusion of continuity, and repetitiveness gives the idea of causality. When things repeatedly happen together, we tend to see a causal link between them. It creates a mental habit, but a habit is not a necessity.
So, causation itself is another dream-like illusion. It doesn't mean we don't use it. Just like we use Newtonian physics for 99% of all our interactions. But the physicists tell us that Newtonian physics is incomplete. So also, I use cause and effect. If I turn the switch, the light goes on and off, cause and effect. But in the dream state, of course, my favorite one, who here's had a flying dream? So there's cause and effect in the dream. Something causes you to be able to fly. And to the dreamer, it's rational, assumed. It only appears illogical from the viewpoint of the waker. Likewise, every culture has the phenomena of what they would call miracles. Things that apparently defy our understanding of physical law. But I tell you, they have not defied any law at all. They're just using metaphysical laws. It's the only difference. Going on.
Questioner, you have just said that the world is made by God. Maharaj, remember that language is an instrument of the mind. It is made by the mind for the mind. Once you admit a cause, then God is the ultimate cause and the world the effect. They are different, but not separate. Questioner, people talk of seeing God. Maharaj, when you see the world, you see God. There is no seeing God apart from the world. Beyond the world, to see God is to be God. The light by which you see the world, which is God, is the tiny little spark I am. Apparently so small, yet the first and the last in every act of knowing and loving. Questioner, must I see the world to see God? Maharaj, how else? No world, no God. Questioner. What remains? Maharaj. You remain as pure being. Questioner. And what becomes of the world and of God? Maharaj. Pure being, avyakta. Questioner.
Avyakta just simply means unmanifested.
Questioner. Is it the same as the great expanse, Paramakash? Maharaj. You may call it so. Words do not matter, for they do not reach it. They turn back in utter negation. Questioner. How can I see the world as God? What does it mean to see the world as God? Maharaj. It is like entering a dark room. You see nothing. You may touch, but you do not see. No colors, no outlines. The window opens, and the room is flooded with light. Colors and shapes come into being. The window is the giver of light, but not the source of it. The sun is the source.
Let me give a very simple example. Who here has ever eaten a meal while you're watching television? So chances are you're not being attentive to your food. Antithetically, you go to a fancy restaurant with a friend. Dinner comes, it's beautifully displayed on the plate. Oh my gosh. Big part of what it's all about is I'm present to the damn food. I'm watching TV. Unconscious eating. I'm reading Wandering in the Himalayas with a student by Swami Tapovanam. And in the introductory remarks by Chinmaya, he talks about when he was studying with Swami Tapovanam. They'd be walking through the Himalayan forests. And Tapovanam would just stop. Just look at a flower. Just an insect, tree, or he was so present to the beauty of nature. Which revealed such great bliss to him. This is how we see God. I tell you, you can be on your deathbed with your body crumbling and see God. Go out into the forest. One person is awed by the beauty of nature. You see a teenager with their headphones on. Am I making sense? Present. Or they're present to something else. Swamiji always used to remind us, put your mind where your hands are working. Watch the world reveal its beauty and its bliss to you. Any thoughts on this? Going on.
The window may be closed or open, but the sun shines all the time. It makes all the difference to the room, but none to the sun. Yet all this is secondary to the tiny little thing which is the I am. Without the I am, there is nothing. All knowledge is about the I am. False ideas about this I am lead to bondage. Right knowledge leads to freedom and happiness. Questioner, is I am and there is the same? Maharaj, I am denotes the inner, there is denotes the outer. Both are based on the sense of being. Questioner, is it the same as the experience of existence? Maharaj, to exist means to be something, a thing, a feeling, a thought, an idea. All existence is particular. Only being is universal, in the sense that every being is compatible with every other being. Existences clash, being never. Existence means becoming, change, birth and death, and birth again, while in being there is silent peace. Questioner, if I create the world, why have I made it bad? Maharaj, everyone lives in his own world. Not all worlds are equally good or bad. Questioner, what determines the difference? Maharaj, the mind that projects the world colors it in its own way.
And we have such examples of that in our modern political discourse or lack thereof. One side says, you're in an information bubble. My information is right. No, you're in an information bubble. My information is right. Both viewpoints are certain. Here is an assignment. Question certainty. Always, especially your own. Do not confuse certainty. You cannot think a real thought. Neither can anyone else. All of my thoughts are opinions. Only you are not a thought. Ibn Arabi had this style of writing where he would put forward these beautiful cosmic notions, and then he would say, this is so, and not. End it like that. Going on.
The mind that projects the world colors it in its own way. When you meet a man, he is a stranger. When you marry him, he becomes your own self. When you quarrel, he becomes your enemy. It is your mind's attitude that determines what he is to you. Questioner, I can see that my world is subjective. Does it also make it illusory? Maharaj, it is illusory as long as it is subjective, and to that extent only. Reality lies in objectivity. Questioner, What does objectivity mean? You said that the world is subjective, and now you talk of objectivity. Is not everything subjective? Maharaj, everything is subjective, but the real is objective. Questioner, in what sense? Maharaj, it does not depend on memories and expectations, desires and fears, likes and dislikes. All is seen as it is. Questioner, is it what you call the fourth state, Turiya? Maharaj, call it as you like. It is solid, steady, changeless, beginningless, and endless, ever new, ever fresh.
So Chandogya thunders, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, Sarvam Idam, all this, meaning the phenomenal world, Kalu, verily, is Brahman. What I see as an objective world is a homogeneous mass of consciousness. Not just behind or in back, it's in front as well. And the Nama Rupa, the names and forms, are just suspended in it. Like the images in a mirror, like the reflections in the quartz crystal. It's the names and forms that are illusory. Brahman is Achalam, never changes and never moves. Nirupa, without any form. Going on.
Questioner, how is it reached? Maharaj, desirelessness and fearlessness will take you there.
Yeah.
That's the end of the chapter.
Thoughts or questions? If so, God. Well, I think this is a good place to stop. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari